What's up, guys? Thanks for joining me for part 2 of the best of 3 against my friend Rocco here. And I'm changing my team up a little bit. This is Shin's team, who actually used this team to win the 4th Gloria qualifier in Japan back on, I believe, December 20th. And I did make a lot of modifications to the team, be it EV spreads and movesets. I believe he was running, like, no Protect on Mawile, and I honestly don't know how that works, so I put Protect on Mawile. It just makes me feel more comfortable using Mawile. Anyway, I'm going to have a team of Mega Mawile, Mega Salamence, Primal Kyogre, as well as Xerneas, Cresselia, and Weavile. Weavile is really good for this team as well. I need Fake Out support on this team so that I could set up like Geomancies or the Trick Room with Cresselia, as well as just supporting my Kyogre as well. And Rocco is going to be supporting the same team that we were using in the previous best of 3 match, and that was the Groudon, Thundurus, Gengar, Kangaskhan, Greninja, and the Mega Rayquaza. Now we're gonna hop right into this match. You know, every time I see a Kangaskhan on the other team, I honestly feel like they're always going to lead it. It's the safest lead. So what I do to counter that is I actually lead my Salamence. I have double Intimidate support on this team, and you know, Bisharps and Melodics aren't too common in this format anymore, so I don't really have to worry about like a Defiant or competitive boost. But I do anticipate the Kangaskhan lead, and he is smart enough to not lead that. He leads a check to my Salamence, be it his Greninja right there, and I don't, you know, the Intimidate doesn't mean anything right there, onto his Gengar and his Greninja. So I'm going to Mega Evolve right here, go for the Fake Out into the Greninja so that he can't get an Ice Beam onto my Salamence, and his Gengar has Dazzling Gleam. This is VGC 2014, ladies and gentlemen, apparently. But actually in this format, that's not half bad, because it gets a lot of damage off until like Yveltals and a lot of Dragons, and did a lot to my team right there, be it my Weavile and my Salamence. And the Hyper Voice doesn't KO the Greninja, and I was like, you have got to be kidding me. Now, I didn't Protect right there with my Salamence in case the off chance that he didn't go for the Ice Beam into my Salamence, but if he did go for the Ice Beam into Salamence and he did KO me, in which he actually had done, he's going to take himself out with the Life Orb on his Greninja, which actually happens right there. And he's going to go for another Dazzling Gleam. In his position, he shouldn't have went for Dazzling Gleam. Obviously, he was going to take out my Salamence anyway, but he's probably going for the KO into the Weavile, and I was smart enough to switch out my Weavile, because now, when my Salamence went down, which I was anticipating, I get a free switch into the Weavile in case he did have the Kangaskhan in the back, in which he actually does. So now what I can do is I can get a fast Fake Out onto the Kangaskhan to support my Cresselia, so that I can get up a Trick Room. Now, the only thing this Gengar could possibly do from preventing me from getting up a Trick Room would be going for the Taunt onto the Cresselia, and that would be a really great option for him because I don't have the Metal Herb. I actually have a Citrus Berry on my Cresselia for Recover option, but he does go for the Dazzling Gleam KO onto my Weavile, which was not a good decision on his part because I do, in fact, get up the Trick Room and get in my Shamu for free. Now, in this format, having very frail Pokemon in your team, like my Weavile, pretty much the only frail Pokemon on my team. I guess Weavile, Mawile is pretty frail, the special defense factor. But having frail Pokemon on your team, like Smeargle, Liepard, Weavile, Lopunny, it benefits you in the long run. Because once they do their job, like get Fake Outs for support, maybe get like one knockout here or there, put Pokemon to sleep, disrupt Pokemon with Encore, and they go down, that's really good because you get a free switch in into one of your sweepers. That's actually what happened right there, and that's a perfect example of having your very feral Pokemon going down so that I can get a free switch into my Kyogre, in which I had actually done, and I take out both of his Pokemon for free because the Trick Room is up. And he went for a Sucker Punch into my Kyogre, didn't matter. I was taking them both out anyway because I had gotten the Helping Hand up, which I was anticipating right there, so that's why I went for that. Now, the only setback to that was if he actually went for the switch in Groudon, but I think he was smart enough not to do that because I was going to go for a skill swap anyway, but I didn't do that. I actually went for the Helping Hand, so if he did switch in his Groudon, I was in a bit of trouble, but then in the following turn, I still could have skill swapped my Kyogre and then switched it in. So that was a good game, first game. Yet again, the power of Trick Room, Min Speed Kyogre with Water Spout is just so overpowering. I mean, one way to disrupt that would be to, I guess, get up the Tailwind, taunt the Cresselia, Fake Out the Kyogre so it can't use its Water Spout that turn, and then just pretty much get as much damage as you possibly can out of the Kyogre so the Water Spout won't be doing too much. But then you have the option option for the Origin Pulse. It is the less accurate option and the least powerful option when it comes to max HP Water Spouts, but it's also a very good secondary option, and I guess another way, other than the taunts, fake outs, and the damage onto the Kyogre, you could prevent the Trick Room Water Spouts would be the Wide Guard from like an Aegislash. So maybe like running Skull in like later in the format would be really good. I know people do that now, but I'm just going for the Origin Pulse, the Water Spout. I mean, having the most potential, I want to get the most potential out of Kyogre, and the Origin Pulse and the Water Spout are the biggest options for that. Anyway, please join me for part 2, game 2 in a second. Okay, we have game 2 of the best of 3 against Rocco in part 2 of the best of 3, and in this game I really wanted to bring Mawile, because I just love Mawile so much. I like Mawile so much better than Salamence, even though Salamence is very supportive with the Tailwind, even though I'm not running it on this team. It's kind of counterintuitive because I have a Trick Room team, or a Trick Room option with my team, but I guess having Tailwind option on Salamence would be benefiting, because if I get a Tailwind up, I think my speed for my Kyogre is like 170, it's still able to outspeed other max speed base 90, so that'd be a actually cool option to have on my Salamence, so that I can get the support Tailwind as well as the support Trick Room on my team. But I am running a mixed set on my Salamence with Hyper Voice, Draco Meteor, and to hit the Xerneas is really hard with the Double Edge. Now I'm going to bring Mawile into this match. I believe I lead Mawile and Cresselia, and I also bring Xerneas because I really want to just show Xerneas off the Rocco, and I was just like, okay, if I lose this game, I don't really care. But I did want to bring Xerneas right here so I can end up using it. I think this match goes into like 9 or 10 turns, which is probably the longest match that we have had thus far. So you're in, you're up for a good game right here. Anyway, I'm going to lead Mawile and Cresselia, as I just said, and he leads his Gengar and his Thundurus, which was a really good lead on his part against this combination, because he can Will-O-Wisp my Mawile, and he can also Swagger Taunt my Cresselia. Now, I'm just going, I think I just go straight up for the Trick Room right here, to basically, try to like sweep early on, but he does go for the Swagger onto Cresselia. Since he went for the Swagger onto Cresselia, that basically shows to me that he doesn't have the taunt, so I can actually break through and get up the Trick Room right here. And I went for the Sucker Punch onto the Gengar, because I knew he was gonna, I mean, we know each other very well. We know each other's playstyles, so I knew he was gonna go for the, attack with his Gengar into the Cresselia. That could have backfired very, very easily, and he could have went for the Will-O-Wisp into the Mawile, which would have been a better option, but I honestly don't even think this Gengar has Will-O-Wisp, because he did shoot the Dazzling Gleam earlier, he has Shadow Ball, and he has Destiny Bond, and probably like Protect. I don't even think it has Will-O-Wisp, and I don't know why you would run Gengar without Will-O-Wisp. He could have the Will-O-Wisp option, but not Protect, but he does switch it out very smartly, because in case I go for another Sucker Punch into the Gengar, he gets a free switch into his Groudon. He got a free switch into his Groudon anyway, because I protected my Mawile, because I was anticipating a last-ditch effort Will-O-Wisp into the Mawile, so I didn't want that to happen, and I was trying to get up the Trick Room yet again with the Cresselia, but I do get confused, unfortunately, again, and I needed to save my Cresselia so that I can get up the Trick Room later on. So what I'm going to do right here is I'm going to just go for a ditch effort, like attack with my Mawile, I believe, into the Thundurus right here, because I needed to get rid of the Thundurus. It was disruptive to my team as well as to my Kyogre. I'm going to switch it into Kyogre right here in case the Groudon wanted to go for like a fire type of attack onto both my Cresselia and my Weavile. My Mawile, and I was basically just covering for that to switch into my Kyogre, but he's smart enough not to go for that in case I do switch into my Kyogre. And he goes for the Precipice Blades, and my Mawile actually avoids, which is huge, and you're going to see that I get a couple of avoids in this, which unfortunately works out to my benefit, and the Play Rough actually doesn't take out the Thundurus right there, but I do go for the Let's Ditch effort, Sucker Punch onto the Groudon, just to get some chip damage onto it, because I knew I was going to go down to a Precipice Blades this time. The Precipice Blades is definitely not going to miss my Mawile this time. It was unfortunate that I did miss the previous turn, but I do get a free switch into anything I want right here, and I'm going to throw in my Xerneas right here, because I throw my Xerneas in here as a front, because I know he was going to try to attack the Xerneas, so I couldn't get up a Geomancy or, set up like a sweep with my Geomancy, so he actually goes for the attack, I believe the Precipice Blades, which was, yeah, he goes for the Precipice Blades, but I was anticipating like a Swagger play or a Thunder Wave play into my Xerneas, so I was like, I'm just going to protect Xerneas right here. And unfortunately, my Kyogre does go down right there. The Precious Blades and the Thunderbolt does go into the Kyogre, which was his best play. And the Rain disappears. Now he can get off fire-type attacks. My Cresselia does come in here, and I procced Citrus Berry, which is odd, because I don't know why I didn't proc it earlier. I don't know whether or not that was a glitch in the game, but right here, I needed to get rid of the Thundurus. I went for the Helping Hand in case he goes for the Swagger into the Cresselia, in which he actually goes for it into the Xerneas, and again, another huge avoid right there. I needed to get a lot of damage into the Groudon so I can KO it the following turn with another Dazzling Gleam. I went for the Helping Hand so that I can get it off before the Swagger, and we get 2 avoids. 2 avoids that turn. That was really unfortunate. He had this game, and I kept on avoiding. Which was really unfortunate, but pretty much that's going to be game, because I'm going to outspeed the Groudon. I'm going to get a Dazzling Gleam off into both of the Pokemon right here, and it's basically just going to take them both out. I believe he has one more Pokemon in the back. That's why I didn't go for the Helping Hand with my Cresselia. I knew that the Dazzling Gleam was going to take out the Groudon without the Helping Hand, so I didn't do that, and I went for the Trick Room. Oh, that's right, he had the Gengar in the back. That's why I went for a Trick Room, because I knew the Gengar would be able to outspeed my Xerneas without the Trick Room, because I didn't go for a Geomancy. There was no point to go for a Geomancy, because, I mean, why would I do that? I needed to get damage down on his Pokemon, and, you know, it actually did benefit me in the long run, because if I did get up the Trick Room, the Gengar would have been faster than me under the Trick Room. But then yet again, I would then outspeed it without the Trick Room and then get off like a Moonblast off into it. Anyway, that is actually game 2. So I'm pretty much up on 2-0 in these best of 3 sets, and we're going to have one more in part 3. So stay tuned for that.